This training video covers the basic operation of the G450 personal gas detector. The G450 is a compact 1-to-4 sensor gas detector designed to monitor the atmosphere for oxygen deficiency and enrichment, combustible gases, carbon monoxide, and hydrogen sulfide. This short training video provides an overview of the capabilities as well as basic instruction in the operation and use of the instrument. This video does not take the place of the G450 operation manual. Consult the operation manual for the complete instructions for the procedures explained in this video. Each G450 is shipped complete with sensors as well as the specified alkaline or rechargeable battery pack. Accessories shipped with every instrument include a calibration adapter, short length of tubing, quick reference card, operator's manual, and training video. The accessories for rechargeable G450 instruments include a charging cradle and 110 to 240 VAC wall power adapter. G450 instruments are also available as complete value kits and confined space kits that include a cylinder of all-in-one calibration gas regulator, and foam-lined carrying case. The G450 is housed in a rugged, weatherproof case designed to stand up to tough environmental conditions. The instrument is highly resistant to radio frequency and other electromagnetic interference. The housing includes a built-in D-ring and high-tension steel alligator clip. The 4 gas-detecting sensors are installed inside the instrument, protected by moisture barrier filters. A loud audible alarm, bright red LED alarm lights, vibrator alarm, and simple-to-understand explanatory messages provide alarm state information. The large, easy-to-read, top-mounted display includes a built-in backlight that allows the display to be read even in dim light conditions. The display changes color from green to orange to red to help communicate alarm conditions. The G450 is powered by means of safe, interchangeable, rechargeable nickel metal hydride or alkaline battery packs. The rechargeable battery pack is left in the instrument during recharging. A charging cradle is used to hold the instrument during the charging procedure. Make sure to use the lockdown T-bar to hold the instrument securely in the cradle during recharging. The green LED indicates that the charging cradle has power. Once you insert the instrument into the charger, the G450 display will show you the charging status. During the fast charging phase of the charging cycle, the amber LED is continuously lit. When the battery pack is completely depleted, it can take up to 6 hours to complete the fast charging cycle. When the battery pack has been charged to 90%, fast charging is complete, and the amber LED will begin to blink. Once fast charging is complete, the charging cradle switches to the trickle charging mode. To reach 100% full charge, the instrument should be left in the charger in trickle charging mode for another hour or 2. The instrument display will tell you how long the instrument has been in the charging cradle. The instrument should not be left longer than 14 days at a time in the charger. After 14 days, unplug the cradle or remove the instrument from the charger. The alkaline battery pack is powered by a set of 2 AA-sized alkaline batteries. Either battery option provides up to 20 hours of continuous operation. To remove the battery pack from the instrument, use the hex wrench tool to loosen and remove the screws. Use the tool to push from behind to unseat the battery pack. Do not use a screwdriver or knife blade to pry the battery pack out of the instrument, as this can cause harm to the water-resistant seals. The hex wrench tool is also used to unseat spent batteries from the alkaline battery pack. Once again, push from behind and do not use a screwdriver to pry out the AA batteries from the battery pack. Only use Duracell AA-sized alkaline batteries in your G450 instrument. Make sure the vibrator is at the top when the battery pack is reinserted into the instrument. Do not force when inserting the battery pack into the housing. Make sure the screws are secure, but do not over-tighten. The G450 is operated by means of 3 buttons. Basic operation is very simple. Make sure the G450 is located in fresh air before turning it on, then press the right-hand power button to turn the instrument on. The power button has a green-colored indentation that you can feel with your finger. After turning the instrument on, it will display a sequence of information screens while it's warming up. The first screen in the startup sequence shows the software version currently installed. The audible and visual alarms and the vibrator alarm will briefly activate, and additional screens will show the operational status of the sensors. If the instrument has been programmed with the information, it will also show user ID and location ID. The startup sequence will continue with screens showing the alarm settings and the most recent 3 calibration dates for each sensor. The final screens show the next inspection due date and confirm that the instrument is ready for use. At the end of the startup sequence, the instrument will begin to display the gas reading screen. This is the screen that is displayed during normal operation. Check the battery status and verify that the readings stabilize at fresh air values when startup is complete. The readings in fresh air should be 20.9% for oxygen, 0% LEL for combustible gas, 0 ppm for carbon monoxide, and 0 parts per million for hydrogen sulfide. Make sure to give the instrument a chance to stabilize completely before proceeding to perform a fresh air autocal or a gas autocal calibration adjustment. If the fresh air readings are continuing to change or drop, give the instrument a little more time before going on. During the startup sequence, the G450 will sound an alarm and display a notification message if the instrument is overdue for a bump test, overdue for a calibration, an inspection, if the battery pack is depleted, or if there is a problem with one of the sensors. If a bump test overdue or a calibration overdue message is displayed, push the Next button to acknowledge and silence the alarm. Be sure to complete the required procedure before going on to use the instrument in normal operation. A calibration overdue alarm is displayed if one or more of the sensors has not been calibrated by the required date. A calibration overdue alarm is also triggered by an unsuccessful attempt to calibrate or fresh air adjust the instrument. The alarms will continue to be displayed every time the instrument is turned on until they are cleared by performing the required procedure. Performing a manual bump test is easy. All you need to do is flow gas to the sensors, make sure that the alarms are activated, and verify that the sensors respond properly to the test gas. If the G450 displays a bump test overdue message during the startup sequence, the alarm can be acknowledged by pressing Next, but can only be cleared by means of using a DS400 docking station. The DS400 is a fully automatic test and calibration system for the G450 and other multi-sensor GFG instruments. Test results are updated to the instrument as well as stored in the docking station, where they are available for downloading to a computer. GFG record-keeping software allows you to generate comprehensive reports of test and calibration results and greatly simplifies record-keeping requirements. Using the docking station is extremely easy. All you need to do is insert the instrument into the cradle. The docking station will automatically perform the required procedure. The docking station takes less than 20 seconds to complete a bump test and uses less than 0.2 liters of calibration gas per test. The calibration do alarm is cleared by performing a full calibration. The calibration can be performed manually or by means of a DS400 automatic test and calibration station. To use the docking station, all you need to do, once again, is insert the instrument into the cradle. You can press the button to start the calibration procedure immediately or wait for the countdown to be completed and for the procedure to be started automatically. In the first step, the docking station adjusts the sensor readings to match fresh air values. The docking station can use ambient air for this adjustment, or you can attach the docking station to a cylinder of contaminant-free zero air. In the second step, the sensors are adjusted to match the concentrations in the cylinder of all-in-one test gas. When the calibration procedure is complete, the results are displayed on the instrument LCD. The report screen will show the sensor values both before and after the adjustment. We will cover manual calibration procedures in detail later on in this video. In normal operation, the display shows an individual real-time reading for each sensor. If the readings of any sensor reach the alarm concentration, the audible alarm, the LED alarms, and the vibrator alarm will be activated. G450 alarms are normally self-resetting. When the readings return to safe levels, the alarms cease and the instrument returns or continues with normal operation. Press and hold down the power button for 5 seconds to turn the instrument off. The display will count down the remaining time. Release the button when the alarm sounds a steady tone and the display shows the shutdown is complete. The 3 buttons used to operate the instrument are soft keys. This means the name and the function of the button changes as a consequence of what you are doing or seeing in the display at that moment. In normal operation, the left-hand peak button is used to activate the peak hold mode operation feature. The center reset button is used to acknowledge or reset readings and alarms, and the zoom button is used to make the numbers larger, making them easier to read. Pressing any button momentarily turns on the backlight. Press zoom once to make the numbers larger. Press zoom again to see the next gas. After a period of time, the display will return to the normal view, which shows readings for all 4 sensors at the same time. Pressing the peak and zoom buttons at the same time is used to flip the display orientation. Pressing the reset and zoom buttons at the same time puts the instrument directly into the AutoCal calibration mode. If you press and hold down the zoom button while the numbers are large, you can see the peak readings for each sensor as well as the STEL and TWA calculations for the CO and H2S sensors. In normal operation, the instrument displays a separate reading for each sensor. The units used for the measurement depend on the sensor. Oxygen readings are in percent volume. Readings change in increments of 0.1%. If the concentration drops below 19.5%, the air is oxygen deficient, and the O2 deficiency alarm will be activated. High concentrations of oxygen can also be dangerous due to enrichment. If the oxygen reading reaches 23.5%, the atmosphere is oxygen enriched and the high alarm will be activated. Combustible gas readings are in percent LEL. Readings change in increments of 0.5% LEL. 100% LEL is the flammable concentration. The low alarm is normally set at 10% LEL. Carbon monoxide readings are in parts per million. Readings change in increments of 1.0 parts per million. The low alarm is normally set at 25 or 35 parts per million. Hydrogen sulfide readings are in parts per million as well. Readings change in increments of 0.2 parts per million. The low alarm is normally set at 5 or 10 parts per million. The G450 has more than one alarm for each sensor. The display will show the reading as well as the type of alarm. The instrument displays the alarm settings for each sensor during the startup sequence. Oxygen sensors have two descending alarms that are activated by a drop in the O2 concentration. There is also a high alarm that is activated by a rising O2 concentration. Combustible sensors have three user-settable alarms. CO and H2S sensors have 4 alarms for each sensor. The low peak alarms and the high peak alarms are based on the moment-to-moment real-time concentration. If the reading is higher than the alarm setting, the alarm is immediately sounded. The STEL alarm is calculated on a 15-minute basis. The TWA alarm is calculated on an 8-hour basis. The STEL and TWA alarms are used to guard against exposure that occurs at lower concentrations but continues over a longer period of time. The G450 is capable of detecting gas at very low concentrations. Remember, there is a decimal point in both the H2S and the LEL reading. Where to set the gas alarms depends on where the instrument is used, the applicable regulations, and company policy. Certain jobs and activities may require special precautions and procedures. Consult your employer or government agency to verify that the alarm settings are correct. In normal operation, the readings that are shown in the display are the real-time concentrations. The readings match the concentrations in the air that surrounds the instrument at that moment. When you press the peak button, the instrument holds on to the most significant or peak reading. The reading will continue to show, and any activated alarms will continue to sound until you press the reset button or press the peak button again to leave the peak hold mode. A small icon in the display lets you know when the instrument is in peak hold mode. A common use for peak hold operation is sampling the atmosphere during confined space pre-entry procedures. The instrument can be tied onto a lanyard and lowered into the space. The display will stay locked on the most significant reading until you press the reset button. The instrument should not be left in peak hold mode for extended periods of time. Press the peak button again to leave the peak hold mode and return to normal operation. G450 instruments need to be bump tested or calibrated on a regular basis. Local regulations as well as company procedures often make it mandatory to perform a bump test before each day's use. G450 instruments must be maintained according to the requirements listed in the operation manual. The safest approach is to perform a bump test before each day's use. A calibration due warning is displayed if any sensor has not been successfully calibrated within the required calibration period. The calibration due interval can be programmed by the instrument user, or it can be programmed at the factory or by the distributor. Warnings can be acknowledged by pressing the next button, in which case the instrument continues with the startup sequence. G450 instruments are designed to automatically adjust sensor readings during the AutoCal calibration procedure. AutoCal calibration is a two-step procedure. During the air AutoCal step, the sensors are exposed to fresh air, and the readings are automatically adjusted to match fresh air values. In the gas AutoCal step, the sensors are exposed to calibration gas, and the readings are adjusted to match the concentrations in the cylinder of gas that is used to adjust the instrument. Make sure the instrument is located in fresh air. In fresh air, the instrument should show readings of 20.9% O2, 0% LEL combustible gas, 0 parts per million CO, and 0 parts per million H2S. Even when the readings show the correct fresh air values, you should still perform a fresh air autocal adjustment before performing a gas autocal adjustment. Make sure the instrument has had a chance to warm up completely. Wait at least 5 minutes after turning the instrument on before performing an autocal adjustment. If the readings are unstable or seem to be changing, you may need to give the instrument more time. Do not proceed with performing a fresh air autocal until the readings are fully stable. The sensors must be directly exposed to the air during the fresh air autocal adjustment. Make sure to remove the calibration adapter or any other fittings that have been attached to the instrument. Press the reset and zoom buttons at the same time to enter the autocal mode. Do not hold the buttons down, just press them once at the same time. The instrument will display the autocal screen. The screen gives you 3 choices. The left-hand air button is used to perform the automatic fresh air adjustment. The center gas button is used to adjust the sensors while they are exposed to gas. The exit button is used to leave the autocal mode and return to normal operation. Press air to start the autocal fresh air adjustment procedure. After pushing the air button, the instrument will count down the remaining seconds before beginning the adjustment. You can press the air button again to begin the adjustment immediately, or you can wait for the countdown to end and for the instrument to automatically proceed. Pressing abort ends the autocal procedure without completing the adjustment. The display will show an hourglass icon for the sensors while they are being adjusted, then a check mark when the adjustment is complete. The instrument will briefly display a screen showing the instrument has been successfully fresh air adjusted, then return to normal operation. The readings should now exactly match the expected fresh air concentrations. The next step in the calibration procedure is to adjust the sensors while they are exposed to calibration gas. During the gas autocal calibration, the accuracy of the sensors is adjusted to exactly match the concentration in a cylinder of known concentration calibration gas. Make sure you are using a cylinder of gas with the correct concentrations and that the cylinder is within dating. Calibration gas with expired dating should not be used. The gas used to calibrate the G450 should contain 50% LEL methane, or CH4, which is the chemical formula for methane, 18% oxygen, 20 parts per million H2S, and 200 parts per million CO. Do not use the gas if the label shows a different concentration for any of the gases in the mixture. Attach the calibration adapter to the instrument. Make sure the adapter is properly connected to the tubing, regulator, and cylinder of gas. The display will show the autocal screen. Do not press the gas button until you are ready to proceed with the gas autocal calibration. Pressing exit returns the instrument to normal operation. Push the gas button to begin the autocal gas calibration procedure. The instrument will ask you to verify that the instrument is properly connected to the cylinder of gas. Press yes to continue. The instrument will count down the remaining seconds before beginning the adjustment. You can press start as soon as the gas flow has been turned on, or you can wait for the countdown to end and for the instrument to begin the adjustment procedure automatically. Pressing abort ends the autocal procedure without completing the adjustment. The instrument will show an hourglass while each sensor is being adjusted, then a check mark when the adjustment is complete. At the end of the adjustment procedure, the display will show the autocal report screen. Turn the regulator back to the off position. Remove the calibration adapter from the instrument. An OK icon indicates that the sensor has been successfully adjusted. An error message indicates that the sensor was not successfully adjusted. An error message indicates the sensor must be serviced, successfully calibrated, or replaced before the instrument can be returned to normal service. The O2 sensor is not adjusted during the gas autocal procedure. The O2 sensor is adjusted during the air autocal procedure. Since the sensor is not adjusted, the report screen shows dashes instead of an OK message. Make sure that the LEL, CO, and H2S sensors show an OK message. Press Detect to return to normal operation. The instrument is now ready for use. Instruments that fail autocal may not be put into service until the failure condition is corrected. The autocal report screen will indicate which sensors are affected by the failure condition. The most common reasons for failing autocal are running out of gas, using the wrong cylinder of gas, using expired gas, forgetting to turn the regulator on, or the tube connecting the regulator to the calibration adapter has become disconnected. If the report shows that multiple sensors have failed, the problem is usually one of these conditions. Check to see that you have the right cylinder of gas, that the gas is not expired, and that the fittings are properly connected. Then repeat the autocal procedure. When only one sensor fails, the problem may be with the sensor. In this case, you will need to perform a single sensor calibration. Autocal adjustment is designed to handle the minor adjustments that need to be made to the sensors on a normal day-to-day basis. Occasionally, instruments are exposed to chemicals or conditions in the atmosphere that can harm the sensors. Sensors that have lost sensitivity due to exposure to poisons or inhibitors may require a larger calibration adjustment than is allowed during the autocal procedure. To make large adjustments, it is necessary to use the service menu to make a single sensor calibration adjustment. Using the service menu is an advanced procedure that requires a password. Do not make changes to instrument settings unless you are authorized to do so. Consult the owner's manual for the complete instructions. To access the service menu, press and hold down the reset button until you hear a short beep. The instrument will display the main menu choices. Use the arrow buttons to highlight the service choice, then press Select. The instrument will prompt you to enter a password. The password is 1100. Use the arrow keys to choose, then the center button to enter the number. After entering the password, the display will show two options, System and Sensors. Choose Sensors, then push Select. The display will show the sensors currently installed in the instrument. Use the arrow button to select the sensor you need to calibrate, then press Select. The symbol for the combustible sensor is indicated by the gas used to calibrate the sensor. If the calibration gas is methane, the display will show CH4 for the LEL sensor. Once you select a specific sensor, you will have a list of choices. To perform a fresh air calibration adjustment, choose the 0 choice. To perform a gas calibration, choose Calibrate. If the sensor needs to be fresh air adjusted, choose 0. Make sure to remove the calibration adapter before performing the fresh air 0. If the sensor does not need to be fresh air adjusted, choose Calibrate. The Calibrate screen shows the concentration of gas the instrument is expecting you to use. Make sure the cylinder of gas has the same type and concentration of gas that the instrument is expecting. Attach the calibration adapter and tubing to the regulator and cylinder of gas. Open the regulator to begin flowing gas and press Start. If you take a little bit too long with these steps, the instrument may time out and return to normal operation. If this happens, leave the fittings attached, re-enter the service menu, and return to the Calibrate screen and press Start. The screen will show you the current reading and the concentration of gas being used to adjust the sensor. An hourglass icon will show in the display while the sensor is being adjusted. After the adjustment is complete, the display will briefly show an OK message, then go back to showing the Calibrate screen. The gas reading should now match the gas concentration. The next step is very important. After successfully completing the single sensor calibration, you must update the instrument. To do this, press Exit. Each time you press exit, you go up one level in the menus. Press exit again as often as prompted, then detect to return to normal operation. The screen will ask, Save new adjustment. You must press Yes in order for the new information to be updated to the instrument memory. Sensors that fail single sensor calibration may need to be replaced. Please contact the GFG factory for additional guidance or warranty support. The G450 is an extremely sophisticated instrument with many advanced capabilities and functions. This video is designed to explain basic operation. Please consult the G450 Owner's Manual for the complete instructions for the procedures included in this video. Thank you for choosing the G450, and thank you for choosing GFG instrumentation.